Direwolves have roamed Westeros for thousands of years, predating the arrival of the first men. These ancient wolves are native to the northern regions, particularly beyond the Wall, where they are considered legends and are rarely seen in the warmer south. The direwolf is the sigil of House Stark, symbolizing strength, loyalty, and a deep connection to the old ways in the natural world. They are significantly larger than their common wolf counterparts, with some adults standing as tall as a small horse, and direwolves have a thick coat of fur that can be a variety of different colors, though their fur is typically gray or white. Their eyes are intelligent and sometimes eerie, and their physical strength makes them formidable hunters and fighters. Skinchangers, who are also known as wargs, when a skinchanger is able to enter the mind of a wolf or dog, are individuals with the rare ability to enter the minds of animals and control their actions. Skin changing is an ancient ability, deeply rooted in the history of Westeros and its original inhabitants, the Children of the Forest. The Children were closely attuned to nature and magic, with many possessing the ability to skin change. The bond between skin changers and animals is profound, allowing the skin changer to see through the animal's eyes, hear through its ears, and feel its sensations. Outside of wargs being able to control wolves, skin changers also are able to control other animals such as birds, bears, and more. The relationship between a skin changer and their animal is symbiotic and requires a strong mental connection. Among the free folk, skin changing is a lot more common and more openly practiced than in the south regions of Westeros. The wildlings view skin changers with a mixture of fear and respect, recognizing their abilities as powerful but also potentially dangerous. Some wildlings believe that a skin changer's spirit can linger in an animal even after death, and this is a belief that adds to the mysterious and fearsome nature surrounding them. One of the most prominent skin changers among the free folk is Varamir Sixskins, who can control 6 different animals, including a Shadowcat, a snow bear, and several wolves. His ability is exceptional, showcasing the potential of a highly skilled skin changer. Skin changing is closely related to another ancient magical ability, and green seers are skin changers that have the additional ability to have visions and see through their weirwood trees, with the most notable green seer in the series being the Three-Eyed Raven. Green seeing is more rare than skin changing and is considered to be one of the most potent magical abilities in Westeros. The Stark family also have a historical connection to skin changing, though it is not widely acknowledged or understood by many in the southern parts of Westeros. This connection becomes more evident with the current generation of Stark children during the events of the main series, where Bran, Jon, Arya, and Rickon all experience skin changing abilities. Bran is the most notable of the bunch, especially in the TV show where he is the only one with these abilities, and we see that he is guided by the green seer known as the Three-Eyed Raven. In the books, Jon, Arya, and Rickon all have these abilities, although they are all, at least currently, not very aware of them. Skin changers are viewed with suspicion and fear by many in Westeros, particularly in the southern regions where magic is less understood and accepted. The ability to control animals and, in some cases, humans, is seen as unnatural and dangerous, and this fear is deepened by tales of skin changers who abuse their powers for personal gain or vengeance. Despite this, skin changers highlight the persistence of ancient magic and the profound impact of these abilities on the characters in the world around them. Dragons are one of the most iconic and powerful creatures in the entire franchise, originating in the ancient and mysterious land of Valyria, located in the eastern continent of Essos. Valyria was a vast and powerful empire known for its advanced knowledge of magic and its dragon lords, who harness the power of dragons to establish and maintain their dominance. The origins of dragons themselves are shrouded in myth, but they are believed to have first been discovered and tamed in the 14 Flames, a range of volcanic mountains in Valyria. The Valyrians mastered the art of dragon breeding and riding, using them to build their empire through conquest and colonization. The bond between a dragon and its rider was profound, with the rider often being able to command their dragon through spoken commands and mental connection. This bond, along with the dragon's fearsome power, allowed the Valyrians to become the most dominant force in the known world. There are theories that dragons were created by Valyrian blood mages using wyverns, which are flying reptiles that do not breathe fire. There are also theories that they might also be related to fireworms, which are wingless reptilian creatures that do breathe fire, and they may have also lived in the 14 Flames before the dragons came to be. The Doom of Valyria marked a significant turning point in the history of the dragons, resulting in the near extinction of them and also their Valyrian dragon riders. Only a few families survived, including the Targaryens, who settled on the island of Dragonstone before the disaster had happened. House Targaryen, led by Aegon the Conqueror, used their remaining dragons, launching a campaign of conquest against the fractured kingdoms of Westeros. Dragons were instrumental in this conquest, with their devastating power destroying any army that decided to fight against them, forcing the rest of their opponents into submission. For nearly 3 centuries, the Targaryen dynasty ruled Westeros, with dragons serving as symbols of their power and legitimacy. Dragons were bred and ridden by successive generations of Targaryen rulers, but their numbers began to decline due to inbreeding, poor conditions, and perhaps the loss of Valyrian dragon taming knowledge. The civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons further decimated the dragon population. This brutal conflict saw dragons fighting against each other, resulting in significant losses on both sides. By the end of the dance, only a few dragons remained, and they continued to dwindle in number over the subsequent decades. The last dragon died during the reign of King Aegon III, marking the apparent end of dragons in Westeros. The Children of the Forest were one of the original inhabitants of Westeros long before the arrival of the First Men, the Andals, or the Targaryens. They lived in harmony with the natural world, residing in forests, caves, and other secluded places. The children are all very small in stature, with large golden eyes and features that allowed them to blend seamlessly with their surroundings. The children had a profound connection to nature and magic, and they worshipped the old gods, or nameless and faceless deities represented by their weirwood trees, whose white bark and blood-red leaves marked the sacred heart trees of their worship. The weirwoods were central to their spirituality, serving as both shrines and conduits for their magical abilities. After centuries of war between the First Men and the children, peace was made through a pact which was signed on the Isle of Faces in the center of the God's Eye Lake. This agreement ended the hostilities and established a division of lands, where the First Men would occupy open lands and the children would live in the forest. The Long Night brought untold suffering to the children, and this apocalyptic event saw the rise of the White Walkers, and it is theorized that the children were the ones who created them, with the TV show directly confirming this. The War of the Dawn was a cataclysmic conflict where the Children of the Forest and the First Men united to fight against the White Walkers. This alliance was instrumental in driving the White Walkers back to the lands of Always Winter and sealing them away with the construction of the Wall, a massive fortification of ice and magic. As time went on, the Children of the Forest began to fade away from the world, and with the arrival of the Andals, who brought iron weapons and a new religion, further marginalized the children, pushing them into the most remote corners of Westeros. By the time of the main series, the children are considered little more than legends, with few believing in their continued existence. Despite their decline, the children's legacy endures, and their influence can be seen in the continued worship of the old gods in the north, the presence of weirwood trees, and also the Greenseers. The Three-Eyed Raven serves as a bridge between the ancient magic of the children and the new generation represented by Bran Stark, and in the most recent book, the children re-emerge through Bran's storyline. He encounters Leaf and other surviving children of the forest who reveal their history, and in the next books, we will no doubt learn even more about these mythical and legendary creatures. The White Walkers and Whites are the central antagonists in the series. They are often referred to as the Others in the books, and they are mysterious ice-based beings who first appeared during the Long Night, which occurred thousands of years before the events of the series. White Walkers are humanoid in shape, but are much more terrifying in appearance. They have pale, icy blue skin and glowing blue eyes, and their presence causes temperatures to drop, with their touch being able to freeze any objects instantly. White Walkers possess formidable combat skills and are known to wield weapons made of ice that can shatter steel. They are resistant to conventional weapons, with only dragon glass and Valyrian steel being effective against them. They also have a deep connection to ice and cold, using these elements to their advantage in battle. Like I mentioned before, it is theorized that the children created the White Walkers. However, whether that is or isn't true doesn't really matter, as they ended up fighting against the children and also every other intelligent being in the realm. The White Walkers' advance was relentless, and it seemed that all hope was lost. In response, the First Men and the Children of the Forest united to fight the White Walkers in the War of the Dawn, and after much fighting, they eventually won against them, driving the White Walkers back to the far north. White Walkers are capable of creating whites by reanimating dead bodies, turning them into undead soldiers who obey their commands without question. They retain their physical form, but lose all aspects of their former humanity, becoming mindless, relentless killers. Whites can be created from humans, animals, and even giants, making them a versatile and terrifying force. They do not feel pain, fatigue, or fear, and can only be destroyed by fire, dragonglass, or dismemberment. In the events leading up to the main series, the White Walkers return yet again, and as the series progresses, the threat of the White Walkers becomes more apparent, with increasing reports of attacks and sightings. In the TV show, the leader of the White Walkers is known as the Night King, and he is depicted as the first White Walker created by the Children of the Forest, with him having the ability to create more White Walkers by transforming human infants, as well as raising the dead to join his army. Although it is not ever said, it seems that his ultimate goal is to bring eternal darkness and death to the world of the living. The Night King doesn't exist in the books, and their goal might not be as black and white as it is made out to be in the show. With that being said, even if they do have their own reasons, they are no doubt still immoral and evil creatures. The climax of the struggle between the living and the dead is a central theme in the latter part of the series, and in the books, we will hopefully get a much more fulfilling storyline regarding these terrifying beings. The Giants are an ancient race that predates the arrival of the First Men in Westeros. They are said to be older than the Children of the Forest, with whom they share the vast, untamed lands beyond the Wall. Giants are humongous creatures, standing over 12 feet tall, with some even reaching 16 feet. They have a primitive, almost Neanderthal appearance, with thick fur covering their bodies to protect them from the harsh northern climate. Their features are broad and rugged, with large, powerful limbs that give them immense strength. Giants are often described as having a simple and direct way of life, and they are primarily nomadic, moving across the vast northern wilderness in search of food and shelter. Their diet consists mainly of meat, and they are known to hunt mammoths, in which they also use as mounts. The bond between giants and mammoths is strong, highlighting the deep connection the giants have with the natural world. They speak the old tongue, tongue, which is the ancient language of the first men, although their version is a lot more primitive. Communication with other races is limited, as their language and ways are vastly different, but despite their primitive lifestyle, they communicate fairly well with one another. Their culture is one of survival and respect for the natural world, with a deep understanding of the land and its rhythms. The relationship between the giants and the children is one of mutual respect and coexistence, with both races being deeply connected to the land, and legends suggest that they fought together during the long night, although concrete details of this alliance are scarce. The giants' deep-rooted presence in the north and their connection to the ancient magic of the land make them very important figures, and the arrival of the first men marked the beginning of significant changes for the giants, with their superior numbers and advanced weaponry intruded on the giants' territories, leading to inevitable conflicts. Over time, as the first men spread across Westeros, the giants were pushed further north, retreating into the wilderness beyond the wall. Despite the conflicts, there are also periods of coexistence, with the first men adopting some aspects of giant culture and language. With the arrival of the Andals, the giants' decline accelerated, and the Andals brought new technologies, as well as more aggressive approaches to expansion, further pushing the giants into the northernmost regions. By the time of the main series, they are considered near mythical creatures by most inhabitants of Westeros, believed to be extinct by many. The Freefolk maintain a closer relationship with the giants, as they share the harsh northern environment and often face common threats, such as the White Walkers. The Freefolk respect the giants and view them as powerful allies, with them playing a crucial role in the struggle of survival against the Whites. Giants are formidable warriors and are incapable of immense feats of strength and bravery. Mammoths are prehistoric creatures that have existed in the northern regions of Westeros for thousands of years. They are massive, shaggy animals covered in thick fur that protects them from the extreme cold. Their size is imposing, with some standing as tall as 15 feet. Mammoths possess long, curved tusks that they use for searching through snow and ice to find food, and also using their tusks as formidable weapons in defense against predators. These creatures are herbivores, primarily consuming grass, shrubs, and moss that they find beneath the snow. Mammoths follow seasonal patterns to find food in sparse, icy wilderness of the far north, and despite their size and power, they are generally gentle creatures, although they can become aggressive when threatened. Mammoths symbolize the ancient, untamed wilderness that lies beyond the wall, and the deep connection between the land and its original inhabitants. The presence of mammoths emphasizes the themes of survival and the harsh realities of life in the far north. Shadowcats are one of the many fascinating and formidable creatures in the franchise. They are large, predatory felines, akin to real-life mountain lions or leopards, but with distinct traits that set them apart. They have muscular bodies, sharp claws, and powerful jaws designed for hunting and killing prey. Their fur is typically dark and filled with patches of shadowy hues that allowed them to blend into their rocky, forested surroundings, making them almost invisible in low light. These creatures are more commonly found in the Mountains of the Moon, which is located in the Vale of Arryn, and also the harsh, icy wilderness beyond the wall. Their ability to adapt to different environments is a testament to their resilience and predatory skills. Shadowcats are lonely hunters, known for their patience and stealth, and they can stalk prey for hours, sometimes even days, before launching swift and deadly attacks. They are apex predators, sitting at the top of their food chain, and their diet consists mainly of deer, elk, and sheep, as well as other large herbivores, but they are also known to prey on smaller animals and occasionally humans. The Shadowcats' hunting skills are legendary, where they rely on their exceptional agility and strength to take down prey much larger than themselves. Their sharp senses of sight makes them effective nocturnal hunters, but despite their fearsome reputation, they are also known for their elusive nature. They avoid human settlements and prefer the solitude of their natural habitats. However, when their territory is intruded upon, or when food is scarce, Shadowcats can become aggressive and pose a significant threat to unwary travelers and villagers. In the world of Westeros, Shadowcats had a particular place in the folklore and culture of various regions. In the Vale of Arryn, they are both feared and respected, and tales of encounters with them are common. Their skin is sometimes used as trophies or symbols of bravery, and for the Mountain Clans, a group of fierce and independent warriors living in the Vale, hunting a Shadowcat is considered a rite of passage and a test of one's courage and skill. Beyond the wall, the Freefolk have their own legends and stories about Shadowcats, with these creatures being seen as embodiments of the wild and untamed nature of the far north. The Freefolk respect the Shadowcats' strength, often involving them in their stories and songs as symbols of the harsh and unforgiving lands that they inhabit. Shadowcats make several appearances throughout the main series, often serving as symbols of the wilderness and the dangers lurking beyond the safety of the castles and cities. In the first book, Jon Snow encounters one during his time in the Night's Watch, and his direwolf ghost kills it, with Jon wearing its pelt as a cloak to signify his own connection to the wild and his growing skills as a warrior. In the Vale of Arryn, Lysa Arryn uses the threat of Shadowcats to dissuade potential suitors and unwanted visitors, emphasizing the danger of the region's mountainous terrain. The presence of Shadowcats adds an element of danger to the already treacherous paths and mountain passes, and they are symbols of the untamed and wild aspects of Westeros, with their characteristics and behavior reflecting the harsh realities of the natural world in the series. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below which of the the creatures that I discussed in this video are your favorites, and if you would like to see a part 2 where I talk about some of the lesser known and stranger creatures, subscribe to let me know. Thank you again, and goodbye.